This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. In this Business Intelligence Master Program, this is our 17th session. In this session, we will see different ways to copy data from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database. So this particular session, mainly we will focus on how you can copy data from Azure SQL database to the Azure SQL database. There are different ways, friends. So all those ways we will see. So in today's session, we are going to see the scenarios I will explain. Then we are going to see the data types in SQL because these are very important when you are creating the tables. But in real time, you are not going to create the tables because tables will be available already. Next, table syntax and example. Suppose if you want to create a table, how you can create table. If you want to insert some records into the table, how you can insert, how you can query that particular data which you have in the table. All those things yesterday we have seen, but today we will discuss again. Quickly we will go through those syntaxes because those things we are going to use today also. Next, stored procedure and example. Yesterday we also have seen stored procedure without parameter, stored procedure with parameters. So we are going to use all of these in our today copy activity. That's why I just wanted to show you once again these syntaxes. Okay. Next, we know estimations we will do, prerequisites and required resources. Okay, these are the things we will discuss. With respect to demo, we will see how to create the SQL database, how to create tables, how to create stored procedure. So once we have all these three things ready, then we can able to create. So now we need to create the linked service for our Azure SQL database using integration runtime because our database is available in the cloud. So I will create the linked service for my Azure SQL database. Then we are going to create a multiple data sets based on how many tables you are going to read. So if you are going to read a multiple tables, you are not going to hard code all of those, or for each table you are not going to create a one data set. So when you have a multiple tables, what we need to do, can you tell me, friends? I'm expecting on
data set parameter.
Very good. So we need to use a data set parameters to pass these table names one by one. Okay, next. We will create a pipeline. Then we know debug. So what is the purpose of debug? Tell me, friends, what is the purpose of debug? Please tell me. When we will go for debug?
Debug will export latest changes without worrying out for publishing or not.
Without publishing, if you want to run the pipeline, we will go for debug. Next.
We can test it before executing that Malaya.
We can create breakpoints and we can execute pipeline partially. Suppose we have 10 activities, I want to execute up to 3 activities to see how my output is coming, whatever is expecting to my third act, whatever output I am expecting in my third activity, whether I am getting that or not. So to check that, what we are doing is we are going to create some breakpoints. If these breakpoints will work only when you debug pipeline. If you run pipeline, these things will not work. Okay, if you want to run a pipeline must be published. Okay, next. So we will see once you run the pipeline, we can monitor the pipeline. Okay, these are the things we are going to discuss. Okay, fine. So let's see scenarios, friends. So first scenario is we are going to see how to copy full load table from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database. Suppose I have a table in my Azure SQL database. In the table, if I have just 10 records, I want to copy 10 records. If I have 1 million records, I want to copy 1 million records. So full load means entire data which I have in my Azure SQL database, I need to copy into maybe another table or another storage. But today we are going to read a customer table and we will load it into a customer one table, something like that. Okay, from one table to another table we will copy. Next, how to copy selected columns from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database. Suppose if you look at the table, we may have some 250 columns or 1000 columns. I don't want to take all the columns. I want to consider only maybe 20 columns which I need, because instead of copying everything, I will copy only the things which is required for me. Okay, so that's why I need to select the columns. I will copy only the selected columns. Next, how to copy subset of records from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database. Let's say you have a customer's details. Okay, you have a customer details where you can say customer location or customers countries, India, US and UK, something like that. I have a different parts of the different parts of the country people are there in my table, right? So what I need to do, these records I need to filter out. So how I will filter? I will say country equal to India. Wherever I see the country equal to India, only those customers detail, that subset. You have a multiple country people, but I'm just taking the Indian records and loading into the another table. That is a subset of the records I'm going to take and load it into the Azure SQL database. How you can do that? Next, how to copy data from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database using stored procedure in copy activity. So I want to use stored procedure in copy activity. Okay? So I want to use a parameterized stored procedure. So I want to use a parameterized stored procedure to copy data from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database. Stored procedure without parameters, stored procedure with parameters, both I am going to show you. Okay, these are the different scenarios we are going to explore. These are very easy, don't think too much. Okay, so these are very easy. Okay? You can able to understand whatever knowledge you have. Okay, you can able to do. Just the only thing is I need to guide you. Okay, but I will show you. So without practicing, you are very confident that yeah, I can able to do this. Okay, that is up to you, Venkateshwar. Okay, both are in same schema or different, that is up to you. Next, copy data from SQL database to SQL DB. Now you see we have a SQL server. In SQL server we have discussed you will have a SQL database. In this database I have a customer table. This customer table I want to load it into another, maybe you can say in same SQL server I have in same database, maybe I want to load it into another table. Okay, for that first thing I need to connect to this particular SQL server. For that I'm going to create a linked service. Okay, once I connected to it, then once I connected, then I can able to read the tables. So whatever table I want to read, I will read. So once I read a table, that is nothing but my input data set. Okay, whatever data I have read it from source, that is going to be my input data set. So once I read this data, what I want to do, I just wanted to copy this data. Where you want to load this data? So if you want to load this data, maybe you want to load it into customer one table. That customer one table, with that reference you need to create an output data set. If you want to select output like customer one table, you need to have a connection. Okay, you need to have a again connection to your database. Okay, we know. I would like to ask you one question. If I am using same SQL server, how many linked services I need?
Only one linked service.
Only one.
Very good. So how many data sets I need?
Two data.
Very good. Okay, very good, friends. Very good. So now I have connected to this SQL server. Now I will put this particular result in here. See, cust1. In cust1 table I have loaded. So who is going to do all these things?
Integration runtime.
Runtime.
Integration runtime. Which type of integration runtime we are going to use here?
Azure.
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 Very good. Very good. Okay. So Azure integration runtime we are going to use. Now who is going to manage all these things? Our Azure data factory is going to manage. Okay. Thank you all. Everybody is responding and everybody is able to understand the things. Okay. Good. Now let's see. Okay, commonly used data types. So these things we discussed yesterday also, because these are very commonly used data type. That's why I want to highlight here. See, date time, meaning we'll have a date plus time. Example, today date 2020 11 13. Okay, maybe current time you can say 07 15 00, something like that. Date, meaning in this case you will get only date, not time. Varchar means only name, and varchar means names with special characters. Int only it support numbers. Okay, big int means it support numbers, but big numbers such as greater than 9 digits. What is the example I have given? Mobile number. Okay. Table syntax. So how to create the table? We discussed, right? Create table, table name, column 1 data type, column 2 data type, column 3 data type, column like n data type. So with this example, with this syntax, I have created a table. Yesterday we created this table. Okay. Create table. My table name is cust here. My first column is cust ID. The data type is int. My second column is cust name. Data type is varchar of 50. Third column is cust phone number. data type is big int. Fourth column is cust joined date, data type is date. Okay, this is how you are going to create the table. Next, insert data into table. How you will insert data into table? See, insert into table, table name. Also insert into this table. You just have to use the table name. Then column names, column 1, column 2, column n. Values are value 1, value 2, value n. So this is the one syntax. With this syntax, you see here, insert into customer table, cust ID, customer name, customer phone number, cust join. So I have given one Rama phone number and this date. Insert into cust ID, cust name, cust phone number, cust join. To Krishna, this phone number, this is the data. Okay, these two records I have inserted as per this syntax. Now, yesterday I also mentioned when you will mention these column names. When you will mention these column names is you are not following the order. Example, first you are not giving the customer ID. You want to give the customer name first. You did not remember all the details. That's why. So in which order you have your columns defined in the table, when you don't know, you just define all the column names in whatever order you remember. In same order, you need to provide the values. Example, insert into cust. I will say cust name as a first column. Next, cust ID. When I'm providing values, then what I need to do? Rama I need to give first. Then I need to provide the value 1. If you are changing the order of the columns, case 1, case 2 is you are not providing values for all the columns. Maybe you want to provide only cust name and a customer phone number. You don't want to give cust joined and cust ID. Okay, this is the second case. So in these two cases, you are going to mention the column names to insert the records. But you see here, next scenario, insert in the cust values. I inserted directly data. There is no columns. I have not mentioned column names here. There is no columns, directly values I inserted, comma, this is the next record. So why in this case I am not mentioning column names? Because I know the order of columns which I have defined in my table. So first one is ID, next name, phone number, and date. So in same order, if you are going to give, you don't need to mention the column names. Along with that, you need to provide the data for all the columns. All the column means how many columns we have in your customer table? 4 columns. So you need to provide data for all the 4 columns. Next, select the data from table. How you will select? Select column 1, column 2, column n from table. See here, select star from table. Star indicates all columns. So I don't want all columns. I want only customer name. Select cust name from cust. I want only customer phone number. Select cust phone number from cust table. Okay, clear friends, clear? These syntaxes are clear to all of you? Fine. See, okay, procedure syntax you can see here. Stored procedure, create procedure, procedure name as begin end. This is the query. With this example, I see here create procedure cust underscore sp. This is the stored procedure which I am acting on the customer table. As begin end is the syntax. You see here, select star from cust. Instead of this query, what query I am firing? Select star from cust. This is the query I am going to put it inside my stored procedure. Whenever you call the stored procedure cust underscore sp, what is going to happen is it is going to execute the query which you have inside the stored procedure. So whenever I execute cust.sp, what will happen is all the records which I have in the customer table will come. So all these things we discussed yesterday, because I wanted to discuss once again, because in upcoming sessions I will not discuss all these things again and again. Okay, procedure syntax, stored procedure with the parameters. Now you see with the parameters, create procedure, procedure name, and I am providing 2 parameters, @p1 int, @p2 varchar. So as begin and end, this is the query. In this query I can use p1 and p2. In this query I can able to use p1 and p2. With that example, create procedure. This is my procedure name, and I am taking parameter, ID parameter, name parameter, phone number parameter, p join date parameter. So total 4 parameters. Now these 4, okay, these 4 where I am going to use, see, insert into cust values. We just know inserted records. In that insert into cust values are @PID, @PName, @phone number, @p join date. Meaning whatever values you are passing dynamically to this stored procedure, Those values I'm inserting here. Now, if I want to execute cust_sp3, so can you tell me how we can execute? Yesterday we executed. If anybody remember, please.
It's good proc or proc name.
Yeah, execute cust_sp3 or cust_sp3. If you directly execute, it will work. What I'm asking, if you give like that, will it execute? No, because you have parameters. Parameters are mandatory. You need to pass those values, right? So that's why when you are executing this stored procedure, you need to provide the values as well. All these values you need to provide with a comma separated. We have done yesterday. You might have forgot. Don't worry. We will discuss once again. Okay, procedure syntax. Not only for insert. So same parameters. This is the my next parameter. Here I am going to use update statement. See, update customer table. Phone number I want to update. Okay, mobile number as the parameter. This mobile number I want to update where customer ID equal to whatever number. Suppose if you want to update customer ID 2, that customer phone number, if you want to update, you just pass customer ID 2. For this customer I want to update the phone number. Whatever phone number, new number is there, that number if you pass. Which customer, what is the new number? If you pass these two arguments, these details will be updated in your cust table. Okay, because that's how this stored procedure is going to work. Next, estimations. We know how many linked services we need. For each Azure SQL database, one linked service is required in ADF V2. Suppose if you are creating a SQL server, Azure SQL server, then you need to create a one linked service. Next, how many data sets we need? Data set depends on the reference points. We need to create a data sets. Suppose if you are if you have only few things, then instead of creating the dynamic parameters and all, you can able to hard code. So that is, everything is depends on the number of tables you need to read. You are going to create the data sets. Next, how many activities? So one copy activity is required to copy data from Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database. So before you copy this data into Azure SQL database to Azure SQL database, you want to check some kind of a conditions. So then maybe you can use if activity, you can use filter activity, all those things we have done already. Okay. Next, how many pipeline? So one is to Azure SQL database. We need to use a Azure integration runtime. We need to use a Azure integration runtime, that you know. Prerequisites, we should know what is Azure SQL database. We already learned what is data factory, what is integration runtime and types, what is linked service, what is data set, what is activity, what is pipeline. So all these things we are already aware. Okay, let's go to the required resources. Here we are going to see Azure SQL server we need to create. In that we need to create Azure SQL database. Then we need to create the Azure data factory v2. Okay, then we are going to implement the pipelines for different scenarios, whatever we have mentioned in our slides. Okay, clear? Okay. Can I go and create everything, friends? Any doubts before I go and do the demo? Fine, let's do one thing. Come here. Here, just search for SQL database. Click add to create the SQL database. Let's say resource group, I will create new resource group. Here you can say cloud master problem 1. Click OK. Come down. Database name, you can say cloud DB. We talked about all these things we created since last 3 days. We are working on this. So I'm just going to create quickly cloud funded SQL server. Let me enter username here. The password is matched. Now in which region you are creating server? In East US. Just click OK. want to use SQL Elastic Pool, as we discussed yesterday, if you want multiple databases which should share the resources, then you need to go for the Elastic Pool. If you want independent databases, each database should maintain compute and memory independently, then you no need to select the Elastic Pool. Okay. Now compute storage, as we discussed, so you have a two types of purchasing model. One is DTUs based, another one is vCore. In vCore, you can just say, I want only memory to be increased. I want only increase the number of cores. Okay, but in standard, if you increase these database transactional units, okay, if you increase the compute, the storage also will increase. See, as of now, it is a 250 GB. If I keep increasing this, see, this is increased up to 1 terabyte. Okay, maybe if we increase further, okay, so max it is showing 1 TB as we are in a free trial subscription, but if you are in normal other subscription, it will show like more storage you can able to consume. Okay, but you see, based on the DTUs, automatically storage is increasing. You cannot control that. Okay, you cannot control that in DTUs, but we have another purchasing models. If you go here, you can say how much storage you want, how many cores you want. Okay, those things we discussed. Here I want to go with 250 GB and 10 DTUs, database transaction units. Click OK. Remaining things, you know, yesterday you can leave this particular tab, you can leave as this. Here we have selected sample yesterday, right? When you select sample, what we got some adventure database, some tables we got, right? So now if you go with none, you are not going to get anything. It's going to be empty database. Okay, click tags. If you have any key value, you can give, otherwise click review plus 3, then click create. Click create. Now come to second tab, let's create a here let's create our Azure data factory. Okay, so Azure data factory, how you can use, okay, let's say just search for data factory here. Click on data factories, click add to create the data factory. So research group is BA master program 1 in East US, and ADFM Cloud Pandit ADF V2. We'll see whether with this name we have any service. No. Cloud Pandit master program ADF V2. This name also we have taken. Business intelligence master program. Okay, this is available. Okay, just click Git configuration. We know, right, why it is showing all those things. See, just so you just say configure Git later, click manage the identities. What is this tab? See, from yesterday to today, I think you are observing all these tabs has changed, right? Isn't it, friends? Encryption. See all these tabs they are adding, I think. Click networking. Okay, leave it as it is for now. We don't record all these things. Tags. So you can give key value pairs if you have anything. Otherwise, click review. See, cloud. This is cloud, right? So what happens is in backend they can change anything. So if they want to add new features, they will add those new features in backend. Those will be available to all the users. Okay. You just create. Whatever you know, you configure it. Whatever you don't know, you can leave them as it is as a default thing. Okay. Now let's wait until your database and data factory comes up. But yeah, data factory is already up. Let's open this data factory now. How will open data? What is this? Just refresh this to show our resources. Here is our data factory. Okay, fine. Just click on data factories. Data factory is already available. Refresh this. It was shown that it has deployed. No, already. Deployment succeeded. Okay, only resource group it got created. Okay, fine. Refresh this. See, now it came. This is the one we have created, business cloud Pandit BI. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, some spelling mistakes, a lot of things I've done. Okay, fine. Cloud Pandit BI HM. So H. So BI I put in between the T and H. Okay, that is okay. Name we know. Just click author and monitor. We are inside our Azure data factory. Now go back to your database. Database should be ready by now. They're still creating. They did create. So we know we need to go to manage tab. And what we need to do here, first thing that we need to do is we need to create a linker service. Okay, linker service, click new. Here, just click on blob storage. Sorry, what we need to connect? We need to connect to the SQL database. Select SQL database, click continue. The name for this, I will say ls Azure SQL DB. Azure SQL DB. And come down. So here we know that we are going to use the auto resolve integration runtime. Subscription, I'm going to use this. Server name, this is the server name I want to use. I think these are not the servers which I want to use. Yeah, this is the one. And my database name, this is the database. Let's provide your username and password. Okay, you see your database is ready. That's why it is showing now. Let's try to test the connection here. Why connection has failed? Okay, connection will fail because database will not allow anybody to connect by default. So that's why what we need to do, we need to turn on the firewall, set server firewall. Okay, previously I have not shown this error. So today I am showing this error because most of the time what happens, you will forget to turn on this particular IP address. You should know this error, what it means. Okay, just click add client IP. The client IP is added. Okay, then click save. This is the client IP you need to add. Then you also need to turn on this option. What it indicates is allow Azure service and resources to access this server. If like Azure resources or services means like Azure Data Factory or Databricks wants to access this particular database. If you want to allow, you need to turn on yes. I want to allow Azure services and resources to access this server. Then turn on this, click save. These two things you need to do. You need to add a client IP, then you need to turn on this, save it. Okay, then come to your data factory. Now you test the connection. Okay, before you test the connection, you see more. What it is saying, Cloud Pandit requested by the login client with IP address. This is not allowed to access the server. This IP address is not allowed to access the server. Okay. Now just click test connection once again. We'll see this time. So this time you see connection is successful. Connection is successful. Okay, now just click create. Clear, friends? So now I have turned on the firewall and I'm able to connect to the SQL database from my my Azure Data Factory. Now let me log in into the Azure SQL database here. Okay, I'm able to log in here. So now you see the tables. We know we have selected none means there won't be any tables here. Okay, that should be clear first thing. Now I want to create a table. How you can create a table? You remember yesterday we created table. Create table first. So let's say here you can say first ID int, first name varchar 50 and first phone number, you can say begin. First phone number, you can say begin, and you can able to execute. Just run it. Okay. Now table is created. Refresh this and expand this. You see table is created. Let's remove this. Let's say now select star from first. How many records we have? Affected rows 0. There is no records in this. Okay, you see, you don't have any records. What did you say? No results. There is no result in it. So now I want to insert data. Insert into first. So I want to insert in a reverse way. One is first name. Okay. You see the column names. If you have not remember the column names, you expand. It will show you. First name I am giving first. Then first ID I am giving. Final I am giving the first phone number. Okay. Then you can pass the values. In which order you need to pass the values? In same order. First name I will say something. Customer ID I will say 1. Phone number I will give my phone number. This is the one way to insert the data. Next, insert into first. So what you can do? If you know the order of these columns, you can able to provide directly. Now let's say I don't want to provide my customer ID. I want to provide only first name and first phone number. Then you have to provide those two column names and you have to provide the values to them. Okay. First name is Krishna. I'm not providing the value. Can you tell me if I'm not providing the value, what will happen? Yesterday we discussed this, not yesterday only. Yesterday or day before yesterday. Null value, very good. Okay. Null value will go, correct. Insert into, now I am saying third. Okay, third, insert into first. So values directly I will add the values. Here, when you are going in this syntax, you need to provide values to all the columns. Okay, you say here 3. Sorry, I will give same thing. Okay, insert into custom. Now I have a fourth record also 4.
Spelling mistake answer.
Where we have spelling mistake? So insert. Okay, insert into. Okay, so these are the different syntaxes you can use for inserting the records. You just copy all of this, run it. Okay, affected rows is 4. Now I am able to insert these 4 records into the table. We'll see whether these 4 records are available in the table or not. Okay, how we can check? Select star from first and run it. See here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1. Why second record is not visible?
Second is null.
This ID we have not provided, that's why it is null. Okay, now you see, now I want to filter wherever null value, where first ID is null. You know these things also I have shown you how you can filter. Now you see only second one came. Now I want someone from you have to tell, if I want to update this customer ID to 2, how I can write the update statement?
With the alter?
Not alter. Alter means you are
Update
changing
update table.
So which table you want to update? First table. What value you want to set? Set first ID equal to 2. So now
Yes.
if I execute, what will happen?
Entire all the rows value change.
Okay, this is the one of the mistake people will do in real time. Okay, so after that, lot of escalations, many things will happen. Okay, very careful when you are doing the update things. Check it 1 or 2 times. What you are getting? Okay, you need to be very careful. Without any condition, you should not execute this update statement. Before you execute any update statement, check 1 or 2 times. Okay, now here I need to put a condition where I know the customer name, where customer name is equal to Krishna, his ID is 2. That's why I'm setting the this particular ID. Okay, select this. Now let's run it. See affected row 1. Now you ask the null values, you will not be able to see any null values. Say affected row 0. Now you just ask select star from. Now you just ask the select star from cust. Run it. See here, you are able to see second record also, right? You are able to see second record. Okay, to Krishna, this is the phone number.
Malaya,
Okay,
is it auto commit?
huh?
Is it auto commit?
Yes,
How to
yes.
roll back changes? Yeah, if you want rollback changes.
See, one thing in SQL Server, it's a auto commit. If it is a Oracle, you need to commit.
Okay.
Now we'll focus on. Okay, we know how to update, how to insert the records, right? Now I want to say few things. Let's say I want to select only customer name and a customer phone number. How I can select only two columns? You know, right? Cust name, comma, cust phone number from cust table. You just run it. You see, you are getting all the 4 columns, but you are not getting the customer names. Sorry, customer IDs you are not getting, but you are getting all the customer name and the customer phone number. Okay, clear? Now, what I want to do now, I want to quickly execute my. I want to create a stored procedure. How to create stored procedure? Create proc. Create proc. Proc is nothing but a procedure, or you can also use a procedure. Create procedure custom underscore sp as begin end. So in between this, I want to write a query. That query I will simply say select star from cust. Okay. So this is the query is going to execute whenever I execute this particular stored procedure. Okay, just copy this, run it. Okay, I ran it. Now stored procedure is available. Where we can check the stored procedure, go to stored procedures. You see custom underscore sp which you have created. Now I want to execute this custom underscore sp. I want to execute. We have seen different ways to execute. One is custom underscore sp. You can able to execute. Second one is exec custom underscore sp. You can give and you can able to execute. You can run it. See 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fine. So now you are able to see all the results. If you execute store procedure, you are able to see all the results. Now I want to create one more store procedure which is going to take some parameter. Based on the parameter, it is going to filter and it will give you only those records. Okay, example, create procedure. Okay, create procedure custom underscore sp1 dot sp 1 yes begin and end. The query this time I am going to write is select star from cust table where customer ID is equal to @PID. The PID I need to define where here @PID. This is the int, so I will define int. If you want to define a multiple values, then comma you can define all the parameters. Okay, this is clear to all of you. This is not a CID, it's a custody. You need to tell. Okay, whenever I make any mistake, you need to tell me, friends. Okay, now just on it. So this is also ran successfully. Now I want to execute this stored procedure. Take the name of your stored procedure custom underscore sp1. I will pass value 1 and run it. You will get only one record. Go to messages, you see only one you got. Now I will pass 2 and run it. See, you are getting 2. Go to messages, you are getting only 1. 2 and you are getting messages. Only one record is affected. Now go to 3. Run it. I'm getting third record. Is this clear to all of you, friends? So we are done with SQL database, whatever we need to do. All the things are ready with respect to the Azure SQL database. I am going into the data factory, but before I move to the data factory, please let me know if you have any questions. Everybody's clear with table and stored procedure, please ping in chat window, friends. Okay, so now let me go to the ADF. So we know how to create the linker service. So I have created the linker service. Now come to author tab. Our first lab is what? To copy a full load table, meaning whatever data I have in my SQL database, that entire data I need to load it into a cust underscore full. My table name is cust underscore full. This particular table, this target table, you can create from the database, or you can create it from the Azure data factory. Okay, so I hope you know how to create the table from the database. That's why I want to show you how to create this table directly from the Azure data factory. Okay, for that, let's click create dataset, create new dataset. This is Azure SQL. Sorry, I'm just, as of today we have done blob storage. No, that's why I'm going to the blob storage. Okay. So select Azure SQL database, click continue. So this is basically DS for Azure SQL DB. Okay. It's a full load source. Source is full. Okay, full source. You can say full source, meaning full source table. Full source. Select the linker service which you have created. This is the linker service which we have created for our database. We need to select the table. So you can select the table directly. This is the table which I want to read completely. Do you want to import the schema of this table? Yes. Click OK. Now you see, I want to preview the data. You just click on preview data to see what is there in this. Even same thing you can do for your files as well. When you select files, okay, you can able to preview the data. See, I'm able to see what data I have in my table. This is the data I have in my table. This entire data I'm loading into my target. I'm loading into my target. So now for that, my target, I need to define new data set. Go to databases. Here you can search for SQL. So it is taking more time if you search something like this. Oh, sorry, Azure databases, right? Come here, you see here Azure SQL. Continue. This is my target. You can say DS AS Azure SQL DB. Okay, so full load sync. Full load sync. So you can select the linker service because I'm loading my target data, my output also into same database. But this time you see you have only one table. What I wanted to do now is I want to create my own table. Click edit here. Give the table name here. TBO. Oh, sorry. This is the table name, right? Table name you can say custom underscore full. Okay. Here you can say your table name. Sorry, schema name. Schema name is by default DBO, database object. So I'm giving same schema name here. This is my table name. Remember, this is schema name. This is your table name. Okay. Now just click OK. Okay. What it is saying? A database operation failed with the following. What you are trying to do here? Can you tell me? Import schema. You are trying to import the schema from the empty table. It's not even table is existed. Even if the table is existed, it can able to import the schema, but the table is not existed. You are asking ADF to import the schema. It cannot import schema because table is not existed. Select no, click OK. Okay, that's all. Now go to pipeline, create a pipeline. So you have to say PL for data movement. Is a SQL DB full load pipeline. The full load pipeline. Just click, select here. That's all. Come to move and transform. Bring the copy data activity. Here, go to source. What is your source? Your source is full source. My sync is what? My sync is full source. Now, can you tell me whether our target side table is already available or not? Table is already available.
Not available.
Table not available. Very good. So now you need to go to table options. You have to say none. or auto create table, meaning table is not available, so it has to create this table. So that's why I'm saying this table is auto create table. Okay, now let me just execute it. Click debug. We'll go to database and we'll see whether table is available here or not. Okay, here you can see our cust underscore full table came. Okay, now let's query it on that. Run it. You see on here cust name, cust phone number. Okay, you just expand this. See int varchar and big int. So data types also it has taken exactly same based on your data. Clear, friends? So you no need to create the table, but if you want to create the table, you can create it and you can simply select it. When you have created a target data set, we have an option to select the table. There you need to select the table. I hope you understood this. Okay, now how to see the copy activity details? Just click on this. You see you are moving data from East US database to the East US database. Total records read 4, records written is 4, the P connection is 1, so we know throughput. Next to DA used here I have used 4, the parallel copies I have used 1, the total duration it took is 8 seconds. Okay, so for queuing this particular activity, you see there is a 2 seconds, and for copying 6 seconds. Total it took 8 seconds to copy data. Okay, all the details we have. Clear now? Now, so what I wanted to do next.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Huh?
Sir, is there any log file it will create? Log file.
It will not create. So log file means don't worry. Log means that is different. So we are our next session only how you can capture all the logs. Logs is nothing but what is here. You see pipeline run ID is there. Okay, this is you need to take it into your logs. Next, you need to take this data factory name. You need to take your pipeline name. Okay, you need to take the copy duration. Okay, you need to take the number of DIUs. The start time you need to take, end time you need to take, the status of this activity you need to take. These are called logs. How to capture all these things and how to store it in a table, that thing we are going to discuss in our very next session, that is tomorrow.
Sir, thank you.
Okay, clear? No. Don't worry. Okay, all the scenarios I will cover. Okay, fine. Now, so we will go to the next scenario where I want to what I wanted to do. I want to execute. I want to select only few columns and load the data instead of loading all the columns. Okay. For that, you don't need to make any change in any of this. Only you need to make a change in copy activity. Okay. Go to source set. Only the difference that you see is you are changing your source. You are changing your source. Your source side. As of now, you select a table. You select a table. If you select table, you don't have any control. Control means, okay, sorry. Before I go to this, I need to cover one more scenario which I have not highlighted here. I just came to know now. Okay, example. Now, if I execute one more time this copy activity, what will happen? Can you tell me? Just guess it and tell me. See what will happen. Before that, let me just query it and show you how many records we have. 4 records. Now, if I execute one more time, it is going to append the records to the table. Okay, now you see this scenario I have not mentioned, but whatever I have not mentioned, those scenarios I need to cover, like 3 or 4 more scenarios I am going to cover now. I did not remember all these scenarios. Okay, now see, this is executed. Now come here. If you execute now you'll have 8 records. You see 8 records, meaning there are duplicate records. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. What I wanted to do, my requirement here is when I'm loading my copy data activity, when I'm running my copy data activity again, whatever data I have in my target, that data I want to truncate. That data I want to truncate, then I want to load the data. Okay, how can I do that? So for that, you understood my scenario, right? My scenario is when I am copying again new data to my target table, whatever data I have in my target table, that I want to remove it. Example, it's a kind of a append mode. Whatever is available currently, we are doing append mode. Append mode means whatever data you are bringing from source, this data will be added to your target. It will add it to the target. If you want to make it as a something called overwrite. Overwrite means it will remove the target data. It will write only new data to the target. For that, we have a something called pre-copy script. Here, before you copy, you need to execute some script. That is, you need to say truncate. I want to truncate. What you want to truncate? Truncate table custom underscore full. This is the table I want to truncate. Truncate is nothing but basically you are removing the data from the customer table, custom underscore full table. You are removing all the data which you have before you copy this data from source to sink. That's why it's a pre-copy script, meaning before you execute this copy activity, before this copy activity performed, what you want to execute? I want to execute this particular truncate statement, then I want to load the data. Okay, let's click debug. Now we'll see what will happen. It is finished. Now come here. Now you execute it. Now you will see only 4 records. See why you are able to see only 4 records? Because previous previous 8 records, it is truncated. Truncated means table will be there, only data will be removed from the table. Truncate table table. This is the query. Truncate table table. Okay. Is this clear? Any doubts in this? Okay, fine. If you are clear.
Sir,
Now,
sorry, sir, it's already table created, sir. Again, you are selecting the auto table creation.
that yeah, that will not impact. See, auto create table, what it will do, if the table is not available, it will create it. If the table is already available, it will not create. That is the functionality of auto create. See, even if you are not selecting, if you are selecting none, no issue, just execute it. Previously we have seen the example, so it has not it's not recreated when you append the data to your target. That's why you are able to see 8 records previously. You remember, we were able to see 8 records. What it means, it is not recreating every time. It is going to create only if the table is not available. Understood?
Okay, sir. Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
No. Okay, everybody's clear. Permission, other people, please respond, friends. Ram.
Sir, if you want delete particular record in four records, that also will be there, right?
Yeah, this is the query, right? Yeah, that also we will try to do. Okay, now let's say currently I have this 1 2 3 4 records. Now what I will do, I will just to delete. Okay, delete from first where, one second, delete records from, delete from custom underscore full table where I have a custom id equal to 4, meaning the 4th record I'm deleting before I copy. Now can you tell me how many records I will have in my target once I execute my copy activity?
3 records will be there.
4.
So 8 records.
7 records will be there.
Very good. Who said? Very good. Because you are not truncating. If you truncate, everything will go. You are deleting only 1 record. You only asked the question. How you confused? See,
Yeah,
you are
understood.
asking, I want to record, I want to delete 1 record. You are deleting 1 record. That is customer ID 4. When you delete 1 record, you remains like you have 3 more records in the table. To those records, you are adding these remaining records. Remaining records means whatever records is coming from the source. From source, I am getting 4 records. I already have 4 records in my target, but out of 4, 1 record will be deleted before I added these new 4 records into my target. Okay. So
But
We can execute parallel queries,
previously,
right? Truncate as well and this query as well. Then we can get 3 records. That is perfect. No?
Truncated, then data will be not there. Then we again need to delete.
yes.
no, your scenario will be for your scenario we are going to discuss next. You no need to come here. This is the purpose of this is totally different. Okay, so for your requirement, you are asking 1, 2, 3, 4 records I have. I want to load only 1, 2, 3 record. I don't want to load 4th record. That we will cover. That is our next scenario. Here, as part of our first scenario, whatever sub scenarios I have, so all those things I am covering currently. Okay, now come here. Let's click run. Go to messages. You see 7 records and 1, 2, 3. 4th record is not available here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Avinash, you are asking something. Can you tell me?
Yeah, no, son. Malaya. Actually, they already asked the same.
Okay. See now.
So because you have tried the table right first.
Yes.
In the sync, we have only 4 records. Again, you are deleting 1 record from the table. So we have only 3 records.
No, your voice is not clear.
Now you have deleted the 4th record in the full,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We will have only 3 records. You have already truncated the table, right?
Hmm.
So it will not work. Now,
No, I don't know. But your question is, I'm not able to understand because your voice is not clear.
He is asking already truncated, right? Why
you already
again?
truncated chases over the table, but again you are deleting the same table. Again you are deleting the customer ID 4 in the same table, which is truncated previously. So you will have one.
See, you need to understand here. Once you truncate, what we have done, you truncated and loaded the new data to your target. You in your target, we have 4 records again. Out of those 4 records, what I am doing is again before you load again new 4 records. See, first I truncated, meaning my target is 0. My source is having 4. Those 4 will be loaded into the target. Now, how many records I have in the target? 4. Now, when I run copy activity, what it will do basically, it will add these new 4 records to the existing 4 records. It will become 8. But what I am doing is, before you load new 4 records to your target, please delete 4th record which is there in your target. So I am just deleting the 4th record from the target. Now in target, you will have 3 before you copy new 4 records into the target.
Okay.
Okay, that's why I'm able to see 7 records. Murli, are you clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Don't worry, for your requirement, I'm coming. Okay, so our next scenario only your okay. In our next scenario, I'm going to cover your requirement. Okay. See now, next scenario you are saying, I want to copy only 1 to 3 records. I don't want to copy 4th record. That is possible. Sync side, you do one thing. I want to truncate whatever data I have in my target. I want to truncate because I don't want to maintain a duplicate data. Truncate cust_full. I am truncating entire table. Truncate table cust_full. I will not have any data. Now this time, instead of selecting entire data from the table, go to query. Write your query. I am going to write query select star from cust_full. Okay, where you can say cust ID not in 4. Okay, if the cust ID is not 4, okay, not in 4, then those records I want to get. So this particular thing, you want to preview the data, just click preview data to check whether this query is working fine or not. You see it is getting 1 2 3 1 2 3. Why? Because these are the existing records. But you don't worry. Oh, sorry, I need to select from cust. I am selecting from cust. Select preview data. Now you'll see you'll get only 3 records, 1 2 3. Okay, now I am not getting the 4th record. So what you want to do, these 3 records you want to load into the target, but in target, what records I have doesn't matter. That's why whatever records I have in my target table, all those things I am removing by using this pre-copy script. Now what happens, source side I am sending only 3 records out of 4, that is as per your requirement, and sync side you are truncating that particular table, whatever data you have in your target table, everything you are removing before you copy these 3 records into your target. Now just click debug. Yes, succeeded. Come to your target, run it. Now you see 1, 2, 3, but there is no 4th record. You see only total 3 records we got. Clear, Morley?
Yes, sir. If we are accepting only one record, we can give not equals to 4 also, right?
Not equal. Yeah, you can do anything. So I am just, see, if you are good at code, like querying, writing the queries, you can write whatever query, it will work. So I have written simple queries. Okay. So this is the query which is not going to yellow 4th record, except 4th record. It is going to read all the records which you have in the cust table. Select star from cust, where cust ID in4 means only 4th record it will pick. But I'm saying not in 4. If the record is 4, except this record, every other record, whatever records we have, all other records I need to take and load it into the sync. Before I load it into the sync table, that is cust underscore full, I am removing the existing data from the cust underscore full table. Okay, clear to all of you?
Can we parameterize the value which record to pass?
You can do that. So we are going to discuss those things later, because we need to go one by one. Everything I cannot discuss one time only. Okay. You just think we can do that, right? So we already learned. You just have to pass that. Okay, that is possible. We can pass that. Any other questions?
Just one more query, sir. And in data we have 100 records. Assume I want to print only first 2 records.
What you will do in that case? You need to write a
query for that.
See, queries. This is not the session to discuss the queries. That's what I'm saying. If you know query, if you write the query, based on the query, you are going to get the first 2 records or next 3 records or something. So based on that, you can able to load the data. Okay. If you want take queries, we need to have a separate session on that, because I need to cover a lot of other scenarios, and already we are running out of time. Okay. You understood, right? So suppose if you know the query, that, so your requirement, you are clear. Only thing is you need to create a query. How will you create the query? So there are different ways. Okay, you can generate so based on your requirement, right? So you can generate some row numbers, or based on some ranks or whatever. Based on your requirement, you need to write a query, and based on that query, you need to pick the data and load it into your sync.
So whatever the requirement is here, we just pass the query here, we'll get right. That's it. No.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to load full table data, select table. If you have some kind of a conditions, I want to load only all the records except for you asked this scenario. So I have shown you. Now, if you want 1 and 2 records only, so based on what you are saying, 1 and 2 records, whether this is based on the lowest salaries, or this is based on the highest salaries, or this is based on the maybe names. Okay, so something based on something, you are going to filter out those 2 records and you are going to get it for that particular, based on whatever your requirement. So for that, you need to write a query and you need to execute it here.
Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, friends? Okay, fine. Now you see, I will go to the stored procedure. Select stored procedure. We have a 2 stored procedures. If I select cust underscore sp, what it is going to do? Just click preview data. It is going to give you all the 4 records. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is going to give. Now truncate. So anyhow, I am going to truncate my cust_full table. Before I run the copy activity, just click debug now. See, it copied successfully. Come here. Now you can run it. Previously we have 3 records. Now you see there are 4 records in my table. Okay, there are 4 records in my table. Now we also have another stored procedure, right? Just to select that. Come to source. Select your another stored procedure, that is cust_sp1. Okay. For this, if you remember, we need to pass some parameter. Click on import parameters. So here it is asking PID number. Okay, if I say 3, what it is going to do? Only third customer record will be copied into your target. Just click debug. You succeeded. Come here. Now you run it. This table, you see third record we got. Go to messages, only 1 record we got. Now if I do something like this, what will happen? You need to tell me now. I'm just removing this truncate. Okay. Now I'm coming to the source. I will pass my parameter value is 2. How many records I will have after I ran this copy activity? What are those records?
2
2
records.
records.
2 records.
2 and 3 will be there.
Very good. 2 and 3 will be there. 3 is already available. That third record we are not truncating. See, pre-script I'm not using anything. So as I am not truncating that record will be there. Along with that, this 2 record also will be added to that table. Just click debug now. Now you see your copy activities succeeded. See, it came. Your copy activity succeeded. Now come to database. Click run it. So here you can see 2 and 3. You are able to see 2 and 3. Now, if you remember, you need to tell me. If I click on copy activity, if I go to user properties, if I click auto generate, what will happen? What these user properties will give? Anybody remember? These user properties will tell you from which table to which table you are moving the data. So last time I have shown you from which path to which path you are loading the data, from which file to which file you are loading the data, or you are copying the data. In the same way, here when you click auto generate, it will tell you your source is cust table, your destination is cust_full table. So this information, this is useful information, you will be able to get it from the user properties. Okay, you'll have a clear picture. If you come to user properties, click auto generate, it will tell you from where to where you are copying the data. Okay, so I hope all the scenarios we have covered now. Okay, if any questions, please let me know, friends. Okay,
Malaya,
I think one. Yeah.
Malaya, like I have one scenario. Like in source we have 4. Like in source we have 4 columns. One of the column is like customer phone number. I want that is a confidential. I don't want to show in sync. I want to mask that column. Will you cover that scenario?
That is not possible directly in this copy activity. Like in these activities, you need to use the data flow for that.
Okay. So like one more doubt I have. Like if the source is like a file, like there is a file is there like blogger ADLS. So I want to copy in Azure SQL. So like in source default all the schema is string, right? Hello.
Sorry, I was speaking in mute. So you have source at 5 columns, then what you need to do?
No, what I'm saying, like our source is file. So I want to copy that file information table in SQL.
See, first thing is I have not completed, right? So we completed the blob storage files copying. Now we introduced the database. Now we are in a stage where we are copying the data between the tables. So those things
I'm asking, like, will you cover those scenarios or not?
that is 100% we need to cover. So that is mandatory. See, in real time, you will not have a you are not going to copy data from database to database, right? You may copy data from blob storage to the database, or database to the blob storage, from file system to RDBMS, or RDBMS to file system. Only you will copy mostly. Why I am covering all these scenarios? Because you need to have a base. Once you understand the base, and I am copying from file system to database, or all those, you will be able to understand.
So masking also will cover, right, while discussing on data flows, right?
Yes. Which one? That one. Yeah, we will discuss. You just remind me, because I have not in the list that particular encryption or masking. So I will look into it. Okay. You just remind me once again if I have not covered when we start data flows. I will try to cover that. Okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Sir, I have a small doubt, sir. If the SQL server and both are in different schema, so one linked service is enough, or two linked services required, sir?
Okay, sir. First, let me just stop this recording. See, first you need to think whether you are creating a linked service based on the schema or based on the database. It's not, you are not creating a linked service for specific schema. That's why even though you have a two different schemas, okay, you can go and use a same linked service.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, let me stop the recording.